Hey everyone, this is Jeff from SDGC, and I'm just here to bring you some quick Ace Combat 7 VR impressions. Derek has wonderfully put up lengthy video impressions, and he's got a full written review coming, but he doesn't have a PSVR, so I picked up the game on Friday, and I just wanted to kind of dive in and give you guys a little bit of gameplay and an overview of what the VR mode's like and if it's worth a purchase. So the VR mode obviously everyone's been looking forward to this. When it was announced before PSVR even hit, I think when you think of VR, there's a few types of games that really come to mind as ideal for the format, and anything basically in a cockpit I think is a really good fit. A lot of the motion sickness and kind of uncomfortable VR experiences come from the disconnect between your brain looking around and then using a stick to actually move your feet, and that kind of your head separated from your body. So the fact that a game like this can put you in the seat of a cockpit, you can control a vehicle and look around and kind of track your movement and stuff like that. Obviously it's just a ideal game to play on PSVR. So it's been a long wait, and the game was originally announced as a PSVR exclusive. Unfortunately, in the time since then, it's become a multi-platform game, which is great because it means everyone can experience it, but the VR mode has actually become a separate campaign, and it's only 3 missions. I played through all 3 of them within about an hour and a half. I died a few times. There's a couple different modes within the VR section as well, so we'll get into those. But basically the main one is the mission play. There's 3 different missions. The first one has you taken off from an aircraft carrier and kind of fighting over the open ocean. There's a couple islands there. The second one is over a land map. It's kind of a mix of aerial and ground combat. I didn't like this one as much. It's a lot of just circling and looping and kind of firing missiles at tanks and stuff on the ground. And there's actually a section where it's entirely just firing on the ground vehicles, and in my opinion that's not where the strength of the game is. I prefer to be keeping it to the air, or at least mixing it up a little bit. So I didn't really care for that one. The third mission is absolutely awesome. It takes place in a beautiful map. It's cloudy, set above a mountain range. You're diving in and out of the fog and clouds, and there's rain and condensation on the cockpit. It's just a fantastic experience. And all 3 missions, the gameplay itself is a great fit for VR. The thing I found most useful was being able to move my head independently. I mean, I know you have an analog stick that can control the camera in these games, but it's not the same. It seems to disorient me more than it does just turning my head to the left to track where my enemy is. And especially when you're in close to someone and they're taking a sharp turn and they zoom across to your right and they out of the frame of your view, you can quickly jerk your head around and keep an eye on them and line your cockpit and your sights back up with them to launch a missile or hit them with your gun. So in that aspect, it's really, I think, a game changer, and it's the ideal way to play the game. Not that it's not great with a pad or a joystick, but this is one of the best VR experiences I've had in terms of complementing the medium and feeling like a very natural fit and not something that was forced into it. So with that said, the 3 missions are pretty short. There's 2 other modes. There's it's a free flight mode. Basically, once you complete a mission, you can go back and do like a free roam, just fly around and go at your leisure, I guess. It's nice and relaxing, and maybe a good way for people to just go and admire some of the detail that's gone into these maps, but I really don't feel like most people are going to get too much mileage out of it. The core of the game is the combat. That's why it's called Ace Combat, and there's just not, the maps aren't big enough. It's not designed to remove that aspect of it. So the third one is a air show mode. This one I had trouble getting into. It's an interesting idea. Basically, you're standing on an aircraft carrier. You can switch between different camera views. So there's one that'll take you onto the deck, one that'll take you up onto a railing a little bit higher up near the bridge, and then there's some AI pilots just flying their jets around, and you can issue them different commands, different stunts to do, and just kind of watch them. And I think it's supposed to just give you like an appreciation for the visuals, the animations, the engine, and the immersive atmosphere here. But I found that in this, and even in free flight mode to an extent, this is where the visual drawbacks that come with any VR mode are more apparent. and honestly it's just not that pleasant to look around and stare at these planes that are rendered in super low resolution with poor image quality, lots of jaggies. You don't notice it in the main missions because you're so focused on engaging the combat and on the objectives that are in front of you. But when you remove that urgency and that aspect and focus from it and just let you kind of look around at what's there, it's just not that impressive. And visuals are a big part of this experience, so I have to mention that. And one other thing worth noting is there's no options that I could find within the VR mode in terms of accessibility. A lot of games give you different control schemes, a lot of different camera options like a field of view slider, vignetting, which kind of darkens the corners and sides of the image, and it's all to help with just general comfort. A lot of people suffer from motion sickness, and even myself, I wasn't able to play extended periods of the game without feeling a little bit off in the stomach. So it's too bad that they don't have some of this stuff, because it's really going to limit who can enjoy this, and these are very common issues, and there is a lot of games that have some sort of flexibility in terms of how you set this up, so it was disappointing to see that missing too. But I mean, it's a great mode, it works fantastic. It's a great bonus for anyone that wants to pick up Ace Combat 7 on the PS4 and has a PSVR. This is a huge value add to that package, but I don't think I can recommend anyone go out and buy this exclusively for the VR mode, because I think most people are going to be a little disappointed with what they get. Hopefully we see some more updates, maybe some future missions, whether it's free or a reasonably priced DLC package. Because it'd be a shame if this was all we get out of this. It's such a great implementation of PSVR in this game, and it's some of the most fun I've had on the platform. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope you enjoy the game. Take care.